I feel the spirit moving in me. I feel the spirit moving in me.
Well, some time ago, I saw people rollerblading, and I thought, wow, that looks like so much fun, right? And I was kind of looking for a new way to get some exercise, so I rented a pair of rollerblades on Friday night, went out and rollerbladed around my neighborhood, and I was so excited I could hardly sleep that night and waiting to get up the next day to go use them again. So I put on the rollerblades, and I skated down my block, and there was a park down the street. So I went to the park, and I'm skating through the park, and I'm having a great time, and there's this elementary school, so I skated around the elementary schoolyard, and I'm like, wow, this is great. And then I decided to go home, and to go through the park, there was a cement trail that was curvy and went kind of downhill, right? And before I knew it, I was going faster than I felt comfortable, right? And there's no brakes on those things. And I'm like, how am I going to stop? And it's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And so I thought, oh, I'll just pull off on the grass, and then that'll slow me down, and I'll stop, right? So I pulled off on the grass, and I'm going, jumping around like this, and pretty soon I lost total control, and I fell, and I heard a pop as I hit the ground. I had broken my ankle. So I, took the rollerblades off, and I limped home and got in my car. And by the way, it was my right foot, right? Got in my car, drove to the emergency room, got a cast on my foot, and crutches and the whole deal. And, part of my practice in the healing was to take something, from Myrtle Fillmore, who healed herself of tuberculosis, by giving thanks for the healing that was happening in her body. And so I started doing that for myself. I'd go to the gym, and I'd put my foot in the hot tub, and I would massage it and give thanks for it. And about a week after I had this accident, I still had to work, right? I was selling shrink wrap to manufacturing companies in Oakland and in the Bay Area and in Silicon Valley. And so I had to work. Right, so I had to drive my car with my right foot in front of the passenger seat. I put a bunch of pillows behind me, and I drove my car with my left foot. Yeah, and so I decided I had to make this account. I had to make this call on this important account. So I showed up, and I got my crutches, and I got my sales book, and I got a roll of shrink wrap. And I had to climb up about 12 stairs to get into the building, right? And so I get up there with all this stuff, and the buyers say, come on in, we'd like to, come on, we'll talk to you. And they're like, what happened to you? And I told them the story, and they were like, oh my gosh. And I told them, that I was using this gratitude exercise that I had to work with my healing. And they're like, gosh, I never heard of anything like that before. So we did the sales presentation, and they're like, we like your product, and let us think about it. So, okay, fine. So you hear that a lot when you're in sales. So I left, took all my stuff, somehow managed to get down the stairs, and got into my car. And I'm in my car, and I have to back up, right, to get out of the parking lot. And so I put my car in reverse, and my right foot went over and got on the accelerator. Right, with the boot on my foot, right? And so just like that, I'm going 30 miles an hour backwards in the parking lot, and I'm looking out the window, and it's like, oh my God, and I'm headed right towards the window of the office where I had just made the sales presentation, and I could see people in the office scurrying, thinking that certainly I'm coming through the window. So Ernest Shackleton was an Irish explorer who famously led the 1914 Imperial Trans-Antarctic Expedition in the sailing ship Endurance. Now, at the time, it was previous to World War I, and the British Empire was really suffering. So their idea was that they would go to Antarctic, and they would claim this land for Britain, thinking it would solve their problem. And so Ernest took this endurance to the Antarctica and set off from South Georgia. I'm exhausted from telling you that story. Gotta catch my breath. My whole body's like remembering this time, right? And feeling the excitement of it. Oh, thank you. Take a breath. What a concept. Ah, right. So they set off from South Georgia in the South Atlantic Ocean, about 800 miles east-southwest of the Falkland Islands on December 5th, 1914. Their original goal was, of course, to cross the Antarctic continent. Now, have you ever considered what you go through to embark on a journey? What, not only in traveling, but how about in navigating the difficult things that you do in your life? Have you ever, when you're getting into a relationship, how do you go into that relationship, right? When you're embarking on something challenging in your life, how do you embark on it? What is your frame of mind that draws you into that challenging thing that you're about to get into? We're talking about not just anything, but we're talking about something that is going to test your mettle, right? It's like you realize that this is going to be a challenge. This is going to offer you the necessity to step up your game and try something different. So just think about it. In 1914, Shackleton and his crew set out on this journey, on the Endurance, on an adventure that they thought would be a ground-breaking journey across Antarctica. And isn't that a bit like us, right? Sometimes facing these challenges, and we have some excitement about it, but at the same time we feel a little bit of fear because we're stepping into the unknown. And the truth of it is, every journey, everything that we embark on starts with a single step. Or in Shackleton's case, the raising of a single sail. But here's the kicker. The attitude with which we embark on this journey, your journeys, my journeys, makes all the difference. Shackleton began with a spirit of unyielding optimism and gratitude. This was like so much a part of who he was, to have this perpetual optimism. Even though he was heading into the unknown, his heart was full of thanks for the opportunity to explore, for the opportunity to do something different, for the opportunity to lead. So for you, when you go into a new relationship, when you embark on something that has the appearance of being challenging to you, how do you do that? What is your attitude going into it? Are you letting yourself be bogged down with fear? Or can you grasp a new way of being in the midst of that? Imagine for a moment that you have a transformative attitude and that you use the power of gratitude to be the compass that guides you through stormy seas. It helps us. When we are in this place of gratitude, we're able to see things with kind of a silver lining. We're able to change our perspective and see this new thing, this potentially frightening thing, could be simple, could be huge, as something that we know is going to give us the opportunity to grow. So next time, when you're embarking on something challenging, anybody ever have anything challenging to do in your life? Sometimes it's just to get up in the morning, right? Sometimes it's just to get out of the bed. What if you said to yourself or asked yourself, am I setting sail with gratitude? Can I find it in this situation a way that I can feel gratitude about what I get to do? You know, it's not about reaching the destination, as we've heard so many times before, but it's about appreciating the journey, right? Now, Shackleton himself shows that it's not the circumstances that define our journey, but it's our attitude towards our circumstances. And that's so much a part of what we teach in this spiritual path called unity, is that our attitude affects everything, right? The way that we think creates how we're going to embrace our life, how we're going to be, right? What's the phrase about thinking? Thinking, thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. So what we think about determines how that journey is going to be for us. So imagine this. On January 2nd, or on January 19th, 1915, the Endurance became stuck in the ice, a lifeless sculpture on the harsh Weddell Sea. The ship is trapped and embraced tightly by unforgiving ice. The crew spent 11 months with their ship trapped in the ice until they finally had to accept the failure of their strategy, the failure of this highly technical ship for those days, until they had to face the fact that their mission was going to be different. The Endurance was crushed by the forces of the Antarctic on November 21, 1915. And the crew stood and watched as their trophy of technology, their refuge, and their hopes of reaching the South Pole sink below the surface and disappear. And here's a real picture of Shackleton and his crew. Now, I imagine that Shackleton spoke before his crew many times. And so I've created some dialogue that I think that he might have said. Gentlemen, gather around. Let's make this a moment of our collective resolve, not despair. I am grateful for our ship Endurance. She's been our home. She has fought bravely, but nature has spoken. Our journey, however, is far from over. I'm grateful for each of you standing here strong in the face of adversity, a testament to the human spirit and courage. We are far from defeated. Our mission has changed, but not our resolve. Never stronger. We must now shift our focus to survival and returning home, each and every one of us. Remember, we're not just a crew. We're a band of brothers. The strength of our unity has brought us this far and will carry us through. Let's rely on each other for the warmth of comradeship. This can beat the coldest of winds. And don't forget, there's still much to be thankful for. The clear Antarctic air. The sky filled with stars in a way that you've never seen them before. And the unwavering spirit that we share. Together, we will write this story. Together, we will see our loved ones again. Let's set forth with hope, knowing that gratitude turns obstacles into opportunities. What a pivotal moment. Can you imagine being in this freezing cold, having been there for 11 months, watching your ship disappear below the surface and sink? It's a pivotal moment that could break the spirit of any human being. But you know what? It didn't break Shackleton. It didn't break his crew. Instead, it became a symbol of resilience, a metaphor for the unexpected obstacles that we face in life. Shackleton said, "Gratitude turns my obstacles into opportunities." Say this with me. Gratitude turns my obstacles into opportunities. So, how do we deal with challenges? We've all been there, right? We've all had challenges in our lives, and most likely we're going to have more of them. So, how do we deal with them? You know, we all have times when we hit our own version of this ice, right? We have moments when we are stuck as if these glaciers are pushing on us. I'm sure many of us have had experiences of losing everything we had. And still, we can find the resolve to keep moving forward. We can have an illness or a professional challenge or an emotional trial. Anybody ever have any of these things? Just for you watching on Facebook, they all said no. These obstacles can make us feel stunk. Or feel stuck. Probably stunk too. But here's where Shackleton's story really shines a light for us. It's about how gratitude can be a game changer. You see, despite their situation, Shackleton and his men didn't succumb to despair. They chose to maintain the morale, to maintain their perspective. And how did they do that? Anybody know? What have we been talking about? Through gratitude. During this struggle, Shackleton and his men found reasons to be thankful, celebrated the small victories, celebrated each meal, celebrated the beauty of this desolate place where they lived, celebrated the beauty of the stars, celebrated getting through each day, and gave thanks for their mental, physical, and spiritual strength. Gratitude turns my obstacles into opportunities. You know, gratitude's not about ignoring the storm or pretending that the ice doesn't exist. It's not about pretending like we're not stuck. It's facing the reality and having the courage to step up to that reality in the midst of it. To find those moments, those experiences, those people, those lessons that we can be thankful for to help lift us up. You know, gratitude is one of the most powerful laws of the universe. And that's why I think it's so important here at Thanksgiving to really spend time being thankful for what we have. And gratitude is transformative in this way. Gratitude shifts our perspective, right? When we are gratitude, it changes. When we are grateful, it changes the way that we're thinking. Right? Gratitude puts us in this place of appreciating what is going on and it helps us feel better. Right? Gratitude is a huge energetic modality, thing that we can do that changes us instantly. If we can find gratitude in the midst of our challenges, it almost like it lifts us up. It lifts us up above the situation that we're dealing with so we can see it in a different perspective. Gratitude also makes us more resilient, right? When we are in a place of gratitude, we're able to look at the situation we're in and come up with solutions to solving the problem or the challenge. It's like it lifts us up into a new way of thinking and being. It helps us to weather the storm. And gratitude also connects us with others. It helps us to find the things that we have in common. You ever know anybody that's really grateful and expresses that gratitude a lot? And how do you feel when you're around them? It changes you, doesn't it? Right? So gratitude has the ability to connect us with each other, right? Because if we see somebody and they're sort of emanating this thought like, I'm here. I see the good in this situation. I see the good in you. And I see the good in the world. Again, it's transformative. It's allowing us to see deeper, fuller, with light, to see the possibilities. Gratitude also brings us back to the present moment. I love that, right? And don't we find on the spiritual path that it's really about learning to be present in whatever is happening? Now, I invite you to try this sometime today, to really express gratitude for someone, something, and do it honestly and powerfully. And what you're going to find is you are present. It's hard not to be present when we're in the process of being grateful. It brings us right here, right now. Changes our perspective, allows us to be present to whatever is happening, right? So we're not lost in our worries of what's going to happen. We're not lost in thinking about what happened yesterday that we did or didn't do. It's like, boom, we're here. We're present right now. So I invite you to set your compass on your journey of life on gratitude. To make that your way that you approach your life, the direction that you cross your Antarctica, your struggles, your challenges with gratitude. Gratitude does what? Turns my obstacles into opportunities because it changes the perspective, right? As soon as we can see the obstacles in our life and see them as opportunities, it's like, wow. Can you feel the power in that? So it's like, wow. This isn't something that's holding me back. This is something that's pushing me forward. Remember that on November 21st, 1915, the Endurance sank. The crew camped on the ice floes, in the drifts, on this huge moving iceberg that they were on, and it eventually reached Elephant Island. 497 days later. Can you imagine? 497 days later. And you've been on this iceberg in the Antarctic. Imagine. Shackleton and his men took one of their lifeboats, and then on top of all that, went 800 miles in that lifeboat to South Georgia. Reaching South Georgia, Shackleton and two other people trekked across an uncharted island where they were able to discover a whaling camp and set about the rescue that rescued the rest of the men. And the amazing thing to me about all of this is that all of that crew survived. Every single one. We think we have challenges, right? Imagine hanging out in your freezer for all that time. I think that this is a powerful testament to the strength of being with a community, of celebrating and being thankful for everything that they had. It changed their lives. It changed the way they saw their life. And this can do the same thing for us. Gratitude is a powerful tool that we can use that instantly changes the energy of the moment. So Shackleton, I got to do this one more time, just so we remember, gratitude turns my obstacles into opportunities. So Shackleton, through this expedition, teaches us a number of things. First of all, he encourages us, what he does encourages us to maintain a daily gratitude practice. And I'm happy to say that I do this, Emily and I do this every day. We end the day by saying, what are we grateful for today? What really lit us up? What made this day wonderful for us? And I encourage you to do the same thing, and let it move into other parts in your life. To just let your life, your expedition, this journey you're on, be about gratitude, and find the time to speak it, to make it a daily practice. And the second thing that this is all about is being mindful, to really pay attention wherever you are, whatever you're doing, into what's happening right now. And you can do that through gratefulness and just being grateful for the people that are with you, grateful for all that you have, grateful for the breath that you have, grateful to be able to be here on Maui, whether you're visiting or whether you live here, but just being grateful and helps us to be present in this moment. Shackleton's team also taught us to seek the silver lining, to look for the positive. There's always some positive in every challenge. And to look for that, to look, what is it that's positive about this situation, right? Maybe it's just the ability that we have in the moment to call upon our physical, spiritual, mental resources to be present right now, to call upon that strength, from the Spirit. Whether you believe that God's out there, God's in here, just to call on that strength and be grateful. And I think the one of the important things is to express gratitude to others. I know since I've been working on this talk, I've been paying attention to being grateful for people and to tell them, I am so grateful for you. I am so grateful to our board and to our staff and to our sound people and our musicians and everyone who helps to make this community that we have work. And just tell people. It seems like I kind of grew up in a household where giving thanks to people wasn't done very often. And I think that there's something in our unevolved consciousness that doesn't want to tell people how grateful we are for them. I think that my parents, my step-parents, didn't raise me that way because I think they thought if they told me how grateful they were for me that I'd slack off. Because we hold back that love. And not sharing gratitude is holding back that love. As if something bad is going to happen when we tell somebody we're thankful for them. And it's interesting because just the opposite happens, right? We connect with each other. People love to hear us tell them how grateful we are for them. They love that because it helps them to be present in the moment. It helps them to remember how sacred this life is that we share and how much of a team we are working together on this beautiful marble that we are on to empower each other to live powerful lives. And another thing that we can do is to find support in a community. And that's why I've been in Unity for 40 years. And then part of that attraction for me is the community. To be able to be around like-minded people who are positive, who see spirituality as an important tool in their lives, and who encourage each other. Our community is amazing at encouraging each other to be the best that we can be. Don't you want that? Don't you want to be the most powerful expression of spirit that you can be? And we find that. Thank you. One person said yes. Hallelujah. Okay, we got them all going now. Right? And what an amazing opportunity we have to be aware of the presence of spirit in our lives and to be present to life, to recognize life, to recognize love. So just like Shackleton and his crew, who used gratitude to find unity, strength, and moments of joy in the smallest of things, I encourage you to do that, to use gratitude as a tool to empower you to live in the most powerful way that you can. And let's do that together. Oh yeah. So I was on my sales call. I got all my stuff back in the car, got my crutches in there, and I got in my car, and I'm back. I told you I stepped on the accelerator when I was backing up. I'm going 30 miles an hour through the parking lot, heading towards a window where people are scattering, and I was able to get my foot on the brake. I did go through the bushes, but thank God I didn't go into the wall. And I sat there for freaking out for a minute. And the buyers came out and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm okay." And they laughed and they said, "You didn't have to threaten us in order to make this sale, right? We enjoyed your presentation. We enjoyed your story about gratitude, and we appreciate who you are. And we decided, you kind of forced us to, decided to buy your product, and because we think that your product is good, and we appreciate who you are and your attitude that you bring to us. And so we are going to try your shrink wrap." And that ended up being the highest volume sale that I ever made selling shrink wrap. So as you see, gratitude, I didn't put the affirmation in there. You don't know it by now, right? Gratitude turns my obstacles into opportunities. I invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. Breathing in, celebrating this moment, being grateful for this moment right now. To feel that. Just to dig into that well of energy and light within you. And to feel that gratitude. Breathing in and breathing out. And I invite you to consider some challenge that you have in your life. It could be a relationship, it could be with your health, it could be with something that you have some hesitation about doing or starting. And just kind of be with that, whatever this is, for a moment. Being aware that this might be your endurance stuck in the ice. And just feel that for a moment. Feel that stuckness. And as you breathe into that, I invite you to sprinkle it with some gratitude. And to find something in this situation that you can be grateful for. Maybe it's the fact that you get to step up and change your perspective. Maybe it is that you get to do something in a new way. Maybe it is that you get to let go of something that you've been hanging on to for a long time. Maybe it is that your spirit knows that something good and transformative is going to come out of this. So just imagine that you can hold this opportunity, this challenge in your hands, near your heart, and give thanks for it. And imagine that right now, in this moment, it begins to transform. And it blossoms like a flower into new possibilities. And let's just sit for a moment holding this vision that gratitude is changing your perspective on this opportunity. Breathing in and breathing out. And we know that this transformation is taking place right now and continues today and tomorrow, shifting, loving, blessing, transforming. Knowing that this is the best day yet. Well, at this time, I invite you to prepare your love offerings. And as you bring them forward, to remember that this is your best day yet. And to think about, what are you going to take from today? What is the message that you're going to take into your life the practical idea of gratitude. And I hope that you'll celebrate this gratitude this week and consider how gratitude is going to shift your life, how gratitude is going to shift your perspective, how gratitude is going to affect the way that you set sail in your days, in your life this week. So as you hold your gift and give thanks for it, beholding a new you, a new perspective, a new way of seeing the obstacles in your life, moving through, and see yourself moving through them as opportunities to express your fullness in everything that you think, say, and do. So as we hold our gifts, I invite you to affirm with me our affirmation of prosperity. Let's say it together. Together. Through a grateful, giving heart, my mind and life overflow with the abundance of God's all-providing, infinite supply. And so it is. Let's see. Yes. Let's say a prayer and give thanks. Thank you, loving Spirit, for these gifts that have come to us in love. We hold them, we bless them, and we give thanks for them, knowing that they're moving in and through this ministry, out across this island and out into the world. And we behold a world filled with love, with light, with joy, with thanksgiving, and with peace. And so it is. Namaste. Thank you. I don't think I've ever seen anybody smile as much when they gather the love offerings as I did see Eleanor this morning. Yeah? Really, really wonderful. All right, so we just have a couple announcements. And Eleanor, why don't you start, being as we got you up here? Okay. There you go.
So the universe has provided for all of you to join an opportunity in service, as the message was this morning, to help one of our congregants whose ship is stuck in the ice to join a team to help her move. And that congregant is, I don't know how many of you know her, Mela Makana. She's been a long-term participant here. And for the last few years, she's been bedfast. And so she's kind of helpless in that sense. And so we're trying to gather together a team. Michael has a truck, and we're trying to gather a team that would help her today, or if you can't do it today, she's going to need help. I think she has to be out of her place by Tuesday is the deadline. But we have a truck today to move stuff, and we just need people to help unload the ship or unload the house to move. So if anybody can help today or another day, let me know. I'll be doing the counting of the offering afterwards, but Michael maybe can be here to
Mike, thanks.
Yeah, to set a time and all of that kind of thing. So anybody who can help join that team, that would be awesome. We have a storage unit to move belongings to. She herself doesn't have a place to go to either, so there's another thing to keep in mind. No place to go. All the nursing homes are full, and it's kind of a very, very sad story. But and that's another thing that we're trying to resolve. Right, and Jason and Joy are familiar with the story and the needs. So, yeah, thank you all for whatever you can do.
Thanks, Eleanor. You can take that with you. Thanks. Yes, we are, as a matter of fact. Okay, I see what you're thinking. All right, a few announcements today. Oh, you can sign up to bring flowers. There's a sheet in the back, And somebody dropped these off by our door. It was a little gift to us. And you can sign up to bring flowers on a future date. Just pick a date on our sign-up sheet. Put your name down and how you'd like those flowers to be remembered, or what you'd like to remember, have us remember through those flowers. And that'll be fun. It's always great to have a beautiful life up here besides myself. And Thanksgiving is this Thursday. I'm sure you probably didn't forget. And we thought it'd be fun for next Sunday for us to have kind of a post-Thanksgiving potluck. So I think Kathleen, Kathleen left. Is there a sign-up sheet? Kathleen was going to make a sign-up sheet. Okay. And so there's a sign-up sheet back there. Did she divide it up into? Okay, there you go. So pick your category, bring it, and we'll celebrate around noon next Sunday. It'll be a lot of fun. We haven't had a potluck in a long time, so tell your friends, and let's make it a real memorable time to get together and have some fun and be grateful. And Sunday after that, December 3rd, can you believe it's time already it seems like we just took our decorations down to decorate our amazing sanctuary for Christmas. And so that'll be happening the Sunday after next, and we'll start that at 12 noon. It'll be a lot of fun. We put some Christmas music on and have fun decorating the sanctuary. And Carrie is doing a sound bath meditation on December 2nd, right here from 4 until 5. And there's no charge for it, but a love offering would be great. And you can come and sit in a chair or bring your yoga mat and lay on the floor. And it's a real wonderful time to take a bath in some wonderful music from her crystal bowls. So mark that on your calendar, December 2nd from 4 to 5. And next week, my talk is titled, As I Touch the Divine, I Am Healed at Depth. I'm going to be talking about the woman who suffered from hemorrhages for 12 years. Metaphysically, that means that she was drained of all of her energy. And the story is about this, you might remember, it's touching the hem of the garment. And the way we see that is about touching the hem of our Christ self, and to experience healing by touching that beloved within inside of us. So that's what we'll be talking about next week, right here at 10 o'clock. That's one of my favorite, it is my favorite Bible story. All right then, well, why don't we stand? Oh, my Walk Your Talk is available in the back also. If you liked what I talked about today, I made some notes on it, and it's in the back, and easy for you to pick up. It looks just like that. And so please pick that up as you go. All right, now let's stand up, and we will say the prayer for protection. And in fact, you can move and join hands right now. Let's form a big circle around all of our chairs. And we'll say the prayer for protection, and then we'll sing together the peace song. All right, so together, the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us wherever we are. God is.
Where I live, they're all raised.